Hi class, this is example 4 in 7.2. Example 4, write each trigonometry expression as an algebraic expression in U. So this is funny because this very same example, it's so similar to example 1. Except in example 1, you were given actual values in numbers, not U's, okay? So here we go. Tangent inverse of U is the inner component. Once you have an answer for that, you're going to find sine of that. Okay, so the whole thing is read sine of tangent inverse of U. So similarly, tangent inverse is restricted, okay, either in 1 or 4. Well, so technically, since U is unknown, you can draw out this triangle in either quadrant as long as it's a 1 or 4. No, you cannot draw in quad 2, and no, you cannot draw in quad 3. It has to come from either quad 1 or quad 4. Since most of us love positive numbers, I would just have it drawn out in quadrant number 1. So tangent of some angle is U, right? So that's what this really meant. Tangent of some angle is really U. Well, tangent is really opposite over hypotenuse. So you can think, opposite over adjacent. So think of it as U and adjacent is 1. Okay, so now we have U and 1 as U being the opposite leg and 1 being the adjacent leg. And this theta right there is that theta, okay? So my question is this, okay? Since this whole thing right here turns into theta, what is tangent of that? What is sine of that? So sine of theta is opposite, which I do know, over hypotenuse. Oh my goodness, I don't know what hypotenuse is, so let's find it. So hypotenuse is the same thing, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Here we go. A squared is 1, so 1 squared is 1. B squared is u squared equals c squared unknown. Okay, well, to solve for c, you now need to take a square root from both sides. So c equals square root of 1 plus u squared. So this right here is square root of 1 plus u squared. In no class, this is not equal to 1 plus u. Okay, never, ever, ever, ever. Okay. So now I know what the hypotenuse is. I would have to put it here because it's opposite over hypotenuse for sine. Well, no, you may not leave the answer as a radical. So from here, we will need to rationalize. So to rationalize this, I'm just gonna move this over or erase that because I need some more space. I will now multiply by its radical. What you multiply to the bottom, you multiply to the top, okay? So now we have an answer of, on the top, u times a quantity of, not quantity, times the radical of 1 plus u squared. On the bottom, it's going to be 1 plus u squared because the radical times the radical will cancel out the radical. And that is my final answer for A, with only u's left and the denominator rationalized. Cosine of secant inverse of u. Similarly, we are now going to draw a triangle, which is cosine secant is restricted in quads 1 and quads 2. And again, u is unknown, so technically you can draw this out anywhere you want, okay? Cosine, it's a reciprocal, secant inverse is the reciprocal of cosine, okay? So secant is reciprocal of cosine. So this is technically what you're thinking is this. Secant of some angle equals u, okay? So, hey, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, okay? That means secant is hypotenuse, which is u, over adjacent. So let's find that missing piece, okay, by using Pythagoras. So we're going to say, hey, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So a squared is 1, so 1 squared is 1. B squared is really unknown. U is now the hypotenuse, so that's going to be u squared for c. I would need to subtract both sides. Okay. So now b squared equals u squared minus 1 square root. B is now square root of u squared minus 1. Technically, I could have plus or minus, but I'm in quad 1. This is a positive value. Okay, so now that we have the opposite. So now let's find cosine of the same angle. Cosine is just going to be what? Adjacent, which is 1, over hypotenuse, which is u. What? I didn't have to find that missing leg after all. No, you did not. That's the final answer. And I love you guys all, and I will see you guys in class. Have a wonderful day.